I'm in Anderson, Indiana at Maplewood Cemetery. This is probably my favorite family marker I've ever seen. The Lilly family. Look how beautiful this is. But we're going to talk about a gentleman who is buried just a few yards down. You can see the flags are still up from Memorial Day weekend, and we're about a week later, so they still have the flags up, which I think's really awesome. We're going to talk about a guy whose name is Henry Stewart. Henry fought in the Civil War, and I believe it was the 8th Ohio Volunteers Cavalry Unit. We'll look around here. And he fought alongside his brother in the same company. And his brother, who was buried right near here, was Dr. Jonas Stewart, Company E of the 8th Ohio Volunteer Calvary. And this is the family marker. Actually, two families. Woodward and Stewart. And this marker is the one that we came to see. This is Henry Stewart, 1844 to 1864. Now, Henry Stewart also fought in Company E of the 8th Ohio Volunteers Cavalry. But something interesting says he was buried on battlefield. So he obviously either died in battle or died from wounds in the battle, or died of disease. But we're going to find out where Henry Stewart is buried. This is just a memorial marker. So let's learn about Company E of the 8th Ohio Volunteer Cavalry Unit.
It is not known to me where Henry Stewart was born, but his brother Jonas was born in Delaware County, Indiana in 1843, and he also served in the 8th Ohio Volunteer Calvary alongside Henry. The 8th Ohio Volunteer Calvary was originally known as the 44th Ohio Infantry, which was organized in Springfield, Ohio. Later in January 1864, it was reorganized into the 8th Ohio Cavalry. In this list of deaths of volunteers of 1861 to 1865, it lists Henry Stewart, Private, Company E of the 8th Ohio, having been killed in action at Rude's Hill, Virginia. Rude's Hill is a 981-foot hill just outside of the town of Mount Jackson in Shenandoah County, Virginia, primarily known because it was a strategically placed elevation on which many Civil War events occurred. Rude's Hill was an important site in the American Civil War, occupying a commanding high point overlooking the Key Valley Turnpike, whereas passes through a point between Smith Creek on the east and the North Fork of the Shenandoah River on the western side. In a pre-dawn raid on October 3, 1864, Confederate Captain John McNeil led approximately 50 Confederate Rangers against roughly 100 Union troopers of the 8th Ohio Cavalry Regiment, guarding Ames Bottom Bridge, a strategic crossing of the Valley Turnpike at Mount Jackson over the North Fork of the Shenandoah River. The attack lasted just 15 minutes, with most of the Union cavalry captured. Private Henry Stewart of Company E of the 8th Ohio Cavalry was mortally wounded, and his body was buried somewhere on the battlefield of Rude's Hill. Sometime after the battle, many of the dead from Rude's Hill was reburied at Fredericksburg National Cemetery in Fredericksburg, Virginia. However, Henry Stewart's name does not appear on the list of known burials. It is possible he is buried there in a grave marked as unknown.